Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm back online and be prepared now for some bold new predictions. This will be not a long video as usual, but you remember I am making a lot of successful predictions, and I think this is one of the important ones ahead. So we are talking about ancient astrology here. Many of you know I'm using sidereal astrology, which is the actually true tradition, the actual true tradition of the ancient times. Well, I guess I will explain more in another video about this type of astrology, but just remember this is the true tradition of the ancient times, including for the West, by the way. There are ancient texts about it. And so instead of making prediction for the month, I will be now focusing on something a little bit further in time. However, not so far. And later this month, I will make separate videos for the eclipses, the one that happened and the one that is about to happen in a couple of days, in a week actually, exactly. So be prepared also for this. Also, if anyone wishes to have a reading with me, can message me to my email, which I will list below the video. So whether it is about career, finances, love, or just everything for the next 12 months, well, welcome. So now let's begin with the clearly astrological part. As I was researching through the ancient texts on astrology, there was a moment when I encountered a very interesting text. And it is stating the following. And here goes also the prediction. It is about the condition of affairs of the mighty country of China. And of course, everything that is concerning China is important for the entire world, for the USA, for Europe, Asia, everyone. So the ancient text is stating that when Saturn is in Pisces, there will be certain things going on in China and in relation to China. Now, Saturn is now in Pisces since the beginning of April and for the next 2 years. I will tell you what the text is, of course, saying, but let's take a look what happened in the past when Saturn is in Pisces in China. I took time to take a look for the last 2 times when Saturn was in Pisces. And of course, I am talking about the real Pisces, the sidereal sign in the constellation. If for some reason you are only have information about Western type of astrology, tropical sign astrology, then you probably think that now Saturn soon will be in Aries and that it is long time in Pisces. But that's not true. You can check with in the next month and today using those popular applications for observing the skies, and you will see where exactly the planets are, including Saturn. So Saturn is relatively short time already in Pisces, and 2 years remain. What happens in the period between 1966 and 1968, when he was in Pisces, 2 cycles ago, what happened in China was the Cultural Revolution, which was very tragic time when the people of China was basically fighting against each other. Millions of people died. I will not give you a lesson of history what happened exactly. You can check it. It's actually well known. The thing is that there was great suffering, there was internal struggle in China. And however, the next time when Saturn was in Pisces was in the second half of the 90s. This includes the year 1997. And in 1997, something positive from the point of view of China happened. I mean, from the point of view of the central government, right? They received back Hong Kong. This process, however, also involved some inner turmoil and conflict between the people of Hong Kong and the people of China themselves, because these are two systems. Things became very different in those centuries when Hong Kong was separated by the mainland. So there is a positive and there is a still challenging meaning in it. And now, again, the third time since the 60s, Saturn is already in Pisces. So, my prediction, the first part of it, is that there will be some great struggles and upheaval in relation to China and inside of China as well. However, as you can see from the previous examples, in those years, also China is changing the system, is acquiring lands, and basically it's very active on military level, right? So let's go to the text. Let's see what is the text, and of course this is the prediction about what is about to come, and I will tell you when. So, because the prediction is not only about Saturn in Pisces, but also with some other planets joining Saturn there, right? So this gives us the timing. So basically what the ancient text is saying is the following. It says that when Saturn and Mars are together in Pisces, and I mean, remember sidereal Pisces, the constellation of Pisces as well, which is different than what the Western astrologers think. But astronomers are on my point of view, definitely. So the text is saying when Saturn and Mars are joining there, then there will be wars. There will be wars related to China and even with the nations of China. As you know, in those big Asian countries like China, India, and others, there is more than one people actually in the borders of those former huge empires. And so the text says also internal struggle between the peoples of China. But also it says there will be wars related to the peoples of the sea. So we can expect countries related to the oceans also be involved. Now, right now, the greatest military naval power is USA. Of course, there is one island that also can be claimed to be a sea nation, and it is also a Chinese speaking and Chinese peoples living there, right? And of course, you know what I'm talking about. This is the island of Taiwan. So the text is saying there will be wars between the nations of China, and there will be a relation with those wars with the seas. And what everyone will come to mind immediately, as it happened to me when I was reading this, is that there is a much greater probability now that China will try to seize Taiwan, to invade Taiwan. So I have read some articles evaluating, but because these are like popular things now, that the thing that actually can happen, according to the military analysts, is that China will um, blockade the island with sea blockade, which then will be involving or not, depending on the decisions of other powers like USA, their involvement trying to breach such blockade, etc. Right? But as you can see, all this shows that there will be great tension coming, involving China and most probably Taiwan. But not only, also nations of the sea, naval powers. And the text also is mentioning that the Arabs also will be involved. This is very old text, more than 1,000 years for sure old. But of course, China is a very ancient nation. There were enough of time for the astrologers of the old times to have observations about what happens. And this is their opinion. In, Later, the text continues that if Jupiter is suspecting, and he is, because at the time of the conjunction of Saturn and Mars in Pisces, Jupiter will be in a position of a square to them, which is a major aspect in astrology. And so the ancient text is saying if Jupiter is aspecting, then it indicates the important and powerful people. In this case, I think the text is meaning those of China will be dying. So there will be, according to the text, there will be deaths among them. The text does not specify why and how. Just, however, it states this in relation to the previous statement about wars. But the text continues that if the sun was also involved, and it will be actually, because when this conjunction happens, the sun will be very close. It will be actually in the same sidereal sign, the astrological sidereal sign of Pisces. And so when this is also happening, then the ancients are writing that this indicates killings of kings. They do not specify of which nations, but already mentioned the Chinese and the Arabs in relation to the same text. Okay, so great turmoil coming to and in relation to China, and great danger of war between China, Taiwan, and the West. This is especially the naval powers of the West, like USA and UK. This is how I think it seems that this text is meaning, actually. And now, I read that the intelligence of USA is thinking, at least this is what is in the newspapers, right? That they're evaluating that such things can happen in 2 years. So they're already in the opinion that China will be ready to do this in 2 years. However, now the surprise, the timing actually, according to astrology, is much earlier. Not 2 years from now, but in April of 2026. Basically, what will happen in the sky is that first, the conjunction will become valid from the 3rd of April, and it will be valid all the way until 12th of May. And the exact aligning will happen on the 19th of April. And on this point, not only Saturn and Mars, but also Mercury will be in conjunction with them. There will be triple conjunction between Mars, Saturn, and Mercury in Pisces in that time. And this fulfills the condition of the text about the prediction of wars and internal struggles for China and the peoples of China and the peoples of the sea and the Arabs. Of course, people may not think that this is serious. Last two times, however, when Saturn was in Pisces, it was very important times for China and not easy. This time, it can be even more serious. And let's hope those important will try to have clear heads and not go into such extremities that such situation can lead to. So let everyone hope and pray for the best and actually for peaceful developments, because there is a danger this will be actually the opposite soon enough. And so maybe it was not what everyone hoped to hear, but I think it's still important to say this, what I found in the text. And of course, in the coming days, weeks, and months, I will be providing you with additional information about the ancient texts, about what they say for the months and years ahead. So this is a beginning of a conversation about it. Of course, this will be whatever other topics are there indicated, not focused on this one only. Okay, again, it was nice seeing you. Have a great time. Think about this new information, I guess. And whoever wants to talk with me can message me on my email. Take care, everyone, and see you soon. Bye.